It's all in the preparation.
135. I'm from Nuamanang Budja, far west, deep south, Kinjaling, place of plenty. And I would like to acknowledge the first people of this place, Kulin Nation, Bunawong, Wurundjeri, elders, past, present, coming through. A dead song. Mostly it's on account of the flies. I barely notice when the first one lands, rubbing its wiry arms, shoveling flakes of skin into its mouth. It takes its time, walks from the crumpled collar of my shirt up my neck, over the hills of my chin and lips, coming to rest just beneath my nose. Whatever was there has dried, started to break up. A feast. The air is still. The fly leaps back, hovers above me. From somewhere outside, faint footsteps. Then silence. It lands again, continues to feed. This all began around the time Tony nicked himself from the balcony of 15. He hadn't been there long, only turned up a few weeks beforehand. I tried speaking with him, but he never had much to say. "What are you talking?" he asked. I told him what happened in 15 the other time. "Chris got himself killed," I said, "on account of the dealing." Tony nodded, and back to what he was doing. There was another guy that moved in straight afterwards. I forget his name. Nobody told him about Chris at first. The managers had the room painted, changed over the carpet to get rid of the blood. The place looked like new, like a 5-star hotel. Not like our rooms with the mould and cigarette burns and piss stains everywhere. We would have lined up to switch if we didn't think Chris was still waiting there to haunt us. But this guy moved in and started acting like he owned the place. He was army-like. That's what Terry said. I can tell from his eyes. Terry could be my brother or maybe my son. I don't like him. At breakfast, the new guy was slamming his spoon on the table real loud, complaining and getting all up in our faces. Terry arced up. "You're only here 'cause some bastard killed Chris in your bed." The guy lost it. Threw his bowl across the room, milk and cornflakes splattering against the wall. Next, we see him. He was carrying an old backpack. And then he was gone. He didn't come back. 15 stayed empty for a while. Then one day, Tony turned up. He was friendly enough. I went up to him the first morning, told him about Chris. "Seriously, I can't understand you," he said. Then Terry come in like it was his story to tell. "Some guy got killed in your room. And don't mind this one, he's harmless." Tony just up and walked away, like he didn't care or nothing. He got to the door and turned around. "Thanks," he said. "I'll be out of here soon enough." That's what we all said at the start. Only he meant it. The flies come and go as they please. Soon as the sun is up, they zip through the open window, crawl all over me, eat their fill. They've begun exploring my nostrils, my ears, my tongue. They dance their dirty, rutting footstrokes into my darkest places, slipping across the tiny hairs that line the skin, leaving behind what they will. I am filling with life. Neil don't come inside no more to do his rounds. Stopped almost a year ago. Says it's too dangerous. He still comes to the house though, on account of the managers agreed to give him more money. But he stays on the outside. Even then he don't like being here. "Someone threw a bloody TV at me in the courtyard," Neil said when he saw me. "Right over the balcony." He's the good guard. The only one who stuck around long enough for us to know his name. I hear a noise, look up and see this great box hurtling towards my head. If I hadn't stepped out of the way in the last second, it would have brained me. He was real angry. "Neil," I said, "you gotta walk against the walls." Once you're in the courtyard, you're fair game. He was smiling, so I go on. They don't even know what they're doing. They just see a uniform and suddenly you're the cops. Next day they'll march down to the manager and complain that someone busted their telly. Your fault. That's how it works. He shook his head and laughed. Stuffed if I'm going back in there, he said. He patted me on the shoulder. You stay out of trouble, mate. Sounded funny, him calling me mate. It was now I found Tony, sort of, saw him dangling there.